Welcome to the future.
Welcome to 1337, the future of podcast of longevity. I'm Max, your host, exploring the science of living longer.
And I'm Sophia, diving into health hacks and ageless living tips. We're here to uncover the secrets to a vibrant, extended life.
You know, it's amazing how much we're learning these days about how to actually influence our own lifespans.
It really is.
Today, we're diving deep into an interview with Dr. Rhonda Patrick, who's done a ton of research on daily habits that can really move the needle.
Yeah, she's a wealth of knowledge, and the best part is she backs it all up with science. We're going to break down her insights on everything from omega-3s and exercise to some surprising stuff like sauna use and even cold exposure.
Okay, strap yourselves in because this first bit blew my mind. Dr. Patrick compared having low omega-3 levels to, get this, smoking when it comes to their impact on how long you live.
Whoa, okay, that's a serious wake-up call. It definitely makes you rethink that salmon dinner. She even mentioned something called the omega-3 index, which is a way to measure your levels. Apparently, most Americans are way lower than folks in Japan who tend to live longer on average. Makes you wonder, right?
It really does.
Yeah.
So how do we boost those omega-3s? Dr. Patrick says to aim for about 2 grams a day. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, fish oil pills, got it. But she gets into why that amount matters.
Exactly. It's not just about hitting some arbitrary number. She explains that omega-3s are crucial for things like reducing inflammation, protecting your heart, and even keeping your brain sharp as you age.
And here's where it gets interesting. She dives into the different types of omega-3 supplements. Turns out, not all fish oil is created equal.
Right. She says the triglyceride form is the way to go because your body absorbs it better. It's also the type found naturally in fatty fish. So if you're taking the ethyl ester form, which is what you often find in those big bottles at the store, she recommends taking it with a meal that has some fat in it.
Smart tip. And for those of you who prefer to get your omega-3s from food, she's a big fan of wild Alaskan salmon. She says it's a top choice because it's packed with those good fats and tends to have lower levels of contaminants than some other types of fish.
Now let's switch gears to something that was all the rage a while back. Time-restricted feeding. Remember the skip breakfast trend? Well, Dr. Patrick has some updated thoughts on that.
Yeah, it seems like skipping breakfast might not be the best idea, especially as we get older. She explains that when we fast for long periods, like overnight, our bodies start pulling amino acids from our muscles for fuel.
And that's not good. She emphasizes that having a protein-rich breakfast helps replenish those amino acids and protect our muscle mass. She even suggests aiming for a whopping 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight every day. That's way more than those old recommendations.
So what does this mean for you? If you're used to skipping breakfast or having something light, Dr. Patrick suggests front-loading your protein earlier in the day. Think eggs, smoked salmon, even steak and eggs.
And she's a huge advocate for strength training to help combat muscle loss, especially if you are doing some form of intermittent fasting. But this whole protein thing isn't just about preventing muscle loss. It's about optimizing muscle gain and function throughout your lifespan.
This actually brings up a bigger point that Dr. Patrick makes about how we approach nutrition. She's all about shifting our focus from what to avoid to what we should be including.
Love that. It's about adding in those nutrient powerhouses that often get overlooked. She's a huge fan of leafy greens, which are packed with things like magnesium, calcium, vitamin K, and folate.
And speaking of folate, she mentioned a study where being deficient in folate had the same impact on DNA damage as ionizing radiation. Kind of makes me want to grab a spinach salad, as they, right?
No kidding. It really puts things in perspective. And she also highlights the importance of including some meat in your diet for iron, zinc, and B vitamins. She leans towards pasture-raised meats because they tend to have a better omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acid ratio. And she talks about contaminant levels too. But she's realistic and knows that not everyone has access to those types of meats all the time.
Right. And her point is that our bodies are pretty incredible and can handle a lot as long as we're giving them the building blocks they need.
It's all about balance. You don't have to be perfect, but making conscious choices about what you're putting into your body can make a big difference.
Now let's talk about another key player in the longevity game. Exercise.
Dr. Patrick is a firm believer in the power of exercise for keeping your brain sharp. She recommends aiming for vigorous exercise that really gets your heart rate up, like high-intensity interval training, or even just short bursts of intense activity.
What I found fascinating is that she highlighted a study showing that even taking a multivitamin actually improved cognitive function in older adults and even slowed brain aging. It's amazing how these small things can make such a difference.
It all comes back to those essential nutrients. Now, are you ready for something a little unexpected? Let's talk about sauna.
Dr. Patrick is a huge sauna enthusiast, and she's got the science to back it up. Studies have shown some pretty incredible benefits from improving your heart health to potentially reducing your risk of dementia.
Here's the catch, though. Frequency and duration matter. Dr. Patrick recommends aiming for 4 to 7 sauna sessions per week, with each session lasting at least 20 minutes at a temperature of around 174 degrees Fahrenheit.
She even explains how sauna use can mimic moderate intensity exercise, boosting your VO2 max, which is a key indicator of cardiovascular health and longevity.
Speaking of VO2 max, we'll dive into that more in a bit, but first, let's chill out literally. Dr. Patrick is also a big fan of cold exposure.
Cold showers, cold plunges, you name it. She talks about how cold exposure can increase norepinephrine, which is a neurotransmitter linked to focus, attention, and even reducing anxiety.
She recommends at least 15 minutes at around 50 degrees Fahrenheit to really get the benefits. It might sound daunting, but she explains that cold exposure can also increase mitochondrial biogenesis.
Now, I know that sounds complicated, but think of it this way. It helps your cells become more efficient at producing energy.
It's like giving your cells a power-up.
Exactly. Dr. Patrick even suggests considering cold exposure as a sort of performance enhancer before important events or tasks.
But she does caution against doing it right after strength training, as it might interfere with muscle recovery.
And speaking of strength training, she now aims for a full 2 hours of it per week. She really emphasized the importance of building and maintaining muscle mass as we age.
It's not just about looking good. It's about maintaining your strength, mobility, and independence as you get older.
So let's pause here for a moment. We've covered a lot of ground, from omega-3s and protein to exercise and even sauna and cold exposure.
What's standing out to you so far? What's making you rethink your own habits?
I'm really struck by the idea that we don't have to make radical changes to see results. Dr. Patrick focuses on these small, consistent habits that can have a huge cumulative impact on our health and longevity. It's encouraging.
I totally agree. It's about finding those little tweaks that fit into your life rather than trying to overhaul everything at once. And she really dives into the science behind why these things work, which I find so empowering.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just about blindly following trends. It's about understanding how things work on a physiological level. Okay, ready to keep going. We've got a lot more to uncover.
All right, let's get back to exercise and how it affects our brains. Remember those short bursts of intense activity Dr. Patrick was talking about?
Yeah, those exercise snacks. She's a big believer in them, especially for breaking up long periods of sitting. Even if we work out regularly, a lot of us are still sitting for hours at a time, and that can have some negative consequences.
Right, like increasing your risk for certain cancers. So those exercise snacks, even just a few minutes of moving around, can really make a difference.
Now, when it comes to those more structured workouts, Dr. Patrick is a huge fan of high-intensity interval training, or HII for short. It's all about alternating between short bursts of intense activity and quick recovery periods.
And HIA has been shown to be super effective for so many things, from improving your heart health to boosting your metabolism and even sharpening your brain.
She also mentions Tabata workouts, which are a specific type of HII that involves going all out for 20 seconds, then resting for 10 and repeating that for 8 rounds.
Sounds intense.
It is, but they're really efficient. You get a great workout in a short amount of time. And Dr. Patrick gets into why these types of workouts are so good for us. One of the key things she highlights is the increase in lactate production during those intense bursts.
No, I always thought of lactate as a bad thing, like what makes your muscles burn when you're working out.
That's what I thought too. But she explains that lactate is actually a valuable fuel source for your brain. It's transported there during exercise and helps support brain function and even promotes the production of something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF.
Okay, try saying that 5 times fast. But seriously, what is BDNF?
Think of it like fertilizer for your brain. Helps grow new brain cells, strengthen those connections, and just overall improve cognitive function. So when you do these high-intensity workouts, you're not just challenging your body, you're giving your brain a boost too.
That's pretty cool. So how long do these workouts have to be to get those benefits?
Well, Dr. Patrick points out that they don't have to be super long at all. She mentions this protocol called the Norwegian 4x4, which involves just 4 4-minute intervals of intense exercise.
Wait, so just 16 minutes of intense effort. That's it.
That's right. And studies have shown that even this short workout can significantly improve VO2 max, which is a measure of how well your body uses oxygen. Remember how we talked about VO2 max being a key indicator of longevity?
Yeah, it's fascinating to think that you could be improving your lifespan by pushing yourself for just a few minutes a week.
Now here's a question for you. How do you know if you're pushing yourself hard enough during these high-intensity workouts?
That's a good question. I'm always wondering if I'm actually in that high-intensity zone.
Well, Dr. Patrick recommends using a heart rate monitor to track your intensity. Aim for 75 to 80% of your maximum heart rate during those intense intervals.
But what if you don't have a heart rate monitor? Is there another way to tell?
Absolutely. She mentions the talk test. If you can still hold a conversation while you're working out, you're probably not pushing hard enough. But if you're gasping for air and can only get out a few words, you're likely in the right zone.
Makes sense. And she stresses that consistency is key. It's better to do a shorter, more intense workout that you can actually stick to than try to do too much and burn yourself out.
Now, if you're interested in tracking your progress and actually seeing how you're improving, Dr. Patrick recommends the 12-minute run test. It's a pretty simple way to measure your VO2 max. You just run as fast as you can for 12 minutes and then see how far you've gone.
So you don't need fancy lab tests to get a sense of your cardiovascular fitness. That's encouraging.
Definitely. And it's amazing to think that something as straightforward as running for 12 minutes can provide valuable insights into your health and longevity.
Speaking of running, Dr. Patrick prefers running outdoors whenever possible. She talks about how being in nature has additional benefits for our mood, stress levels, and even our brain function.
So if you have the option, try to get those workouts outside and soak up some of that natural goodness.
Before we move on, I want to circle back to something Dr. Patrick said about strength training. Remember how she's now aiming for 2 hours of strength training per week?
Yeah, she really emphasized the importance of building and maintaining muscle mass as we age. And she had a great analogy for it too.
What was it?
She called muscle mass a retirement fund for your body.
I love that. It's so true. As we get older, we naturally start to lose muscle mass, which can lead to weakness, frailty, and an increased risk of falls.
Exactly. So by building and maintaining that muscle through strength training, you're essentially investing in your future health and independence. It's like putting money aside so you can enjoy a more active and fulfilling life as you get older.
And it's important to remember that strength training isn't just about aesthetics or looking buff. It's about building functional strength that allows you to move freely, do everyday things, and maintain your independence as you age.
And here's the good news. It's never too late to start. Even if you've never lifted weights before, your body is incredibly adaptable. You can start building muscle and gaining strength at any age.
So let's debunk that myth that strength training is only for young people or those who are already super fit. It's truly a crucial part of a healthy lifestyle for everyone.
Now, when it comes to actually doing those strength training workouts, Dr. Patrick shares some interesting insights from experts. She talks about focusing on effort and fatigue rather than just lifting heavy weights.
So you're saying you don't have to be a powerlifter to benefit from strength training?
Exactly. She highlights research showing that you can gain just as much muscle mass and strength by lifting lighter weights, as long as you push yourself to the point where your muscles are fatigued.
That's good to know. I think a lot of people are intimidated by heavy weights, so this is encouraging.
She also talked about the importance of paying attention to the tempo of your movements. Each rep should last at least 2 seconds. That means controlling both the lifting and the lowering phases of the exercise, rather than just jerking the weight up and down.
Why is that so important?
By slowing down the movement, you're increasing the time under tension, which basically means your muscles are working harder and for longer, which helps them grow.
Interesting. So it's not just about how much weight you lift, but how you lift it.
Exactly. And Dr. Patrick highlights another key point, the importance of incorporating exercises that involve stretching your muscles at the end range of motion. For example, instead of doing wide grip lat pull downs, she recommends exercises like narrow grip pull-ups or single arm lat pull downs, which allow for a greater stretch at the bottom of the movement. This stretching seems to stimulate muscle growth more effectively.
So when we're putting together our strength training routines, we need to consider the weight, the tempo, and the range of motion. It's about being strategic.
Exactly. Now, what about those days when you're feeling tired? Do you skip your workout or push through the fatigue?
I definitely struggle with that. Sometimes it's hard to motivate myself when I'm feeling drained.
Well, Dr. Patrick has some clear advice. Train even when you're tired.
Really? That seems counterintuitive.
I know, right? But she explains that fatigue is often caused by inflammation, and exercise is one of the best things you can do to fight inflammation. By getting your blood pumping and your body moving, you're actually helping to reduce inflammation and boost your energy levels.
So instead of reaching for that extra cup of coffee, I should just go for a run.
Exactly. And you don't have to do a marathon workout to reap the benefits. Even a short, intense session can make a big difference.
All right, I'm convinced. Next time I'm feeling tired, I'm hitting the gym. Now, there was another aspect of Dr. Patrick's approach that really resonated with me. Her emphasis on personalization.
Yeah, she recognizes that there's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to health and longevity. What works for one person might not work for another.
Right. It's about finding what feels good for your body and fits into your lifestyle.
Exactly. She encourages you to experiment, listen to your body, and adjust your routines based on your own experiences and preferences.
It's about taking ownership of your health. It's not about blindly following some guru's plan. It's about finding what truly works best for you.
And she highlights the importance of working with qualified professionals, like coaches or trainers, to create a personalized plan that takes into account your specific needs and goals.
That's a great reminder. It can be really helpful to have that expert guidance, especially if you're new to exercise or have any health conditions.
So whether you're a seasoned athlete or just starting your fitness journey, remember, personalization is key. Don't be afraid to try different things, listen to your body, and make adjustments along the way. It's about creating a sustainable routine that you can actually stick to.
Now we've covered a lot of ground in this episode, from omega-3s and exercise snacks to sauna and cold exposure. Before we wrap things up, I want to pause for a moment and reflect on what's resonated most with us.
What's sticking with you?
For me, it's that idea that we don't have to make these huge, radical changes to improve our health and lifespan. Those small, consistent habits, those little tweaks, really can add up over time.
I completely agree. And I think Dr. Patrick does a great job of explaining the science behind it all. It's empowering to understand how our bodies work and how we can actually influence our own longevity.
Right. It's not about magic potions or quick fixes. It's about understanding the basics and then finding what works best for you.
All right, ready for the final stretch. We've still got a few more gems to unpack. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired after diving into all these insights from Dr. Rhonda Patrick.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's amazing to realize how much power we actually have over our own health and lifespan.
It really is. By making smart choices about our daily habits, we can quite literally change our biology and set ourselves up for a longer, healthier, and more vibrant life.
One thing that struck me throughout this whole episode is how interconnected everything is.
Totally. It's like all the pieces of the puzzle fit together.
From the food we eat to how much we move our bodies to even how much sleep we're getting, it all plays a role.
And it's not about being perfect or following some strict set of rules.
Right. It's about finding what works best for you and your lifestyle and creating a sustainable approach to well-being.
It's like finding that sweet spot where you're challenging yourself, but also listening to your body and knowing your limits.
And let's not forget to enjoy the journey. Health and longevity shouldn't feel like a chore.
I love that. It should be something we embrace and celebrate.
Exactly. It's not about punishing yourself or depriving yourself of things you enjoy.
It's about nourishing your body and mind and finding those things that make you feel your best.
And remember, it's never too late to start making positive changes. No matter your age or where you're at right now, you can always take steps to improve your well-being.
Whether it's adding more nutrient-rich foods to your diet, squeezing in those exercise snacks throughout the day, or finding a type of movement you genuinely enjoy, every little bit counts.
And if you stumble along the way, which we all do, it's not about beating yourself up.
It's about learning from those experiences, adjusting your approach, and getting back on track.
That's such a key takeaway from this episode. It's not about perfection. It's about progress.
I couldn't agree more. So let's all commit to making those small, consistent changes that will ultimately help us live longer, healthier, and more fulfilling lives.
And remember, Dr. Patrick's insights have shown us that longevity isn't just about adding years to our lives.
It's about adding life to our years.
It's about making the most of those years with energy, vitality, and a sense of purpose.
So let's embrace this journey of healthy aging and make choices that support us in living long and truly thriving.
And remember, it's never too late to start.
Every step we take towards a healthier lifestyle is a step in the right direction.
Don't forget to visit 1337podcast.com for more deep dive and tips on living longer and healthier.
Thanks for joining us. See you next time. And remember, strength and honor. I am Spartacus.
Thanks for watching. Tap into 1337podcast.com.